We've talked about how bloody mainstream media can shape the views of people and how people see the world. What about education? Education, Johnny. Education. Why, it certainly does, Johnny. You know, we here at the Ask Johnny Studios, we watch Fox News on occasions because they give us an alternative sort of view from that mainstream bullshit.
Yeah.
But this woman here has said the most stupidest thing I've ever heard anybody say recently.
Given the Columbia in the past.
Yeah, I spoke to Mark Penn yesterday, and he wrote a piece yesterday about the generational difference between how people are looking at this, crisis that we're seeing unfold, and the horrific attack that we saw on October 7th, and now these protests that are happening across the country. And you have, sort of the leadership in these situations who have a very different view of how they look at the Middle East, because honestly, and I think quite frankly, they were educated in the dynamics that exist in the Middle East. And I don't know how many of this generation, in many ways, I fault the education system.
Yeah. Now, she's assuming that all the people who are bloody pro-Palestinian are just too fucking dumb to know any different. What?
So these students don't have the full picture, and in many ways it's not their fault because they haven't been educated
also, it's
well.
just part of the
because they haven't been educated
Also, it's just part of the cool group if you are going to be on calling for intifada at MIT.
But you're in the stupid group.
You're in the stupid group.
So she's suggesting that people have got to be swayed so that they believe in the right things, otherwise they're un-American.
Kind of, as I was saying to you guys, wokeism, there was sort of like a, hip quality to it, I suppose, across campuses. But this is where the rubber is meeting the road. And this is where it becomes dangerous not to have a deep understanding of what's going on in these situations.
Jesus Christ!
In the dynamics that exist in the Middle East. And I don't know how many of this generation, in many ways, I fault the education system.
In many ways, I fault the education system. Yeah.
I mean, have a listen to this woman, Johnny.
And they say pro-Palestine. Palestine is not a country that the United States recognizes as any type of unified state. It's a territory where Palestinians live. That's how we term it.
But Johnny, surely you've got to follow your country's views, no matter how stupid they may be. She's been bloody propagandized. Yes, you're right. So all these colleges and universities in the US that are coming out in favour of Palestine, they're all obviously wrong, and they're all gone down the wrong track. They've got to be re-educated. That's what she's saying. So, Johnny, let me get this straight. This woman here on Fox News, she reckons that because of all the people wanting to believe in Palestine, that it's all part of their bloody education. She reckons that they've just been taught wrong.
Some acts of moral courage are accompanied by mild risks, such as being ridiculed, insulted, or ostracized. If, for example, we speak out against a status quo belief in the presence of a group of conformists, or if we refuse to adhere to social practices or mandates that are immoral or idiotic, we may lose friends or attract choice words from the obedient, but this is a small price to pay in exchange for doing what we believe is right.
But Johnny, we here at the Ask Johnny channel for years, we were bloody pro-Israel. Yeah, right. And still are to a certain extent, but after a while, you start realising that it's going all Israel's way and has been going all Israel's way for about 40 years. Jesus Christ! So having come to that conclusion after decades, Johnny, does that make me some sort of bloody idiot? Oh, Jesus, Johnny, I don't know. And supporting the bloody Palestinians, Johnny, doesn't mean you support Hamas. I couldn't give a fuck about Hamas. I just don't want to see little kids pulled out of bloody collapsed buildings like I did last night.